Take a look at the starting lineup for Akron. It's presented by the Hartford.
Well, they're led by Jorge Burgos. Burgos leads the Eastern League in runs batted in with 44 RBI. He's been held in check in the first two games of this series, 1 for 9, but watch out for Jorge.
On the hill for the Goats tonight is McCade Brown, who's a recent call-up, making his third start of the Eastern League. He had tremendous numbers at Class A Spokane out in the Northwest League.
No question about that, Jeff. At High A Spokane, he had a 1.60 earned run average in 9 starts, allowing just 6 earned runs in 33 and 2/3 innings pitched. He's getting his third start for the Yard Goats tonight.
Take a look at the umpires working the game here tonight. Rafael Pineda has got the balls and strikes behind the plate. Tyler Whitty is at first base, and Ethan Gorsak will make decisions at third. Tell you what, weather-wise, we are where we want to be. This is spectacular weather here in the capital city. The Goats and the Akron RubberDucks on Pride Night here in Hartford. The Goats wearing the Pride-inspired colors as they will take on the RubberDucks in what is Game 3 of this 6-game set. A big, strong right-hander, 24 years old, set to try to play the role of spoiler against this Akron club, which is trying to make a bid at Erie to get to the postseason and win the first half. And we are running out of time in the first half. Just 10 games to go.
We are. This is Brown's second start at Duncan Park. He made his Double-A debut at Duncan and pitched 5 innings, allowed 3 runs, but struck out 7 in those 5 innings, Jeff.
So Cooper Engel is in. He will see Brown first. McCade working with Bryant Betancourt as his catcher. His first pitch is looped back into the seats foul, third base side. We are underway. The corners are made in trouble. And thanks for tuning in to Yard Goats Baseball tonight on NESN. Engel's second in the league in both runs scored and walks. He swings and misses. A good fastball. And the count, no balls and 2 strikes. McCade Brown was rolling. Fired 2 scoreless Friday at Portland till the skies opened up. We had a thunderstorm come through Hadlock. That one shoved back and out of play in 97. And the count, 2 strikes to Cooper Engel. And unfortunately, the game was suspended due to rain. Goats ended up making it up the next night and ended up winning that game. That's in there for a call. Third strike, slider at 88. Brown strikes out Engel to begin things for the Goats here in inning number 1. Good looking pitch. A little bit of a wrinkle in that one as Engel goes down with a bat on his shoulders. Tonight's keys to the game are presented by West Hartford Lock. And Dan, what do the Goats need to do to get the win here at home?
Well, they have to tighten the defense. They've made 5 errors in the first 2 games of this series. Reduce the pitch count. Too many pitches last night. And patience at the plate. I thought the Yard Goats were a bit anxious at the plate last night. They have to show more patience.
Brown loves to use that fastball, and he puts 97 by Khalil Watson, the center fielder. This one is fouled straight back. I mean, he is coming right at them with straight heat. He throws that 4-seam fastball, as you see, upper 90s. And he does throw that more than 50% of the time. Little pop-up in right field for G.J. Hill, fighting the sunshine as we go from daytime to nighttime here in Hartford. Watson with a routine out is out number 2. Two-way now for first baseman Jorge Burgos.
You mentioned that sunshine, and it's going to be a tough field for a while, both for the center fielder and the right fielder.
Jorge Burgos. Lefty hitter is in. And he tracks the first one high for ball 1. Goats had a season-high 6-game winning streak snap last night, a 6-2 setback. A 1-0 game late. Joe Lampia, 3-run double in the 7th. Difference. That's chopped foul. And the count 1 ball, 1 strike. Goats made it a 5-2 game and a Zach Kokoska 2-run home run. The series opener went the way of the Goats. Bryant Betancourt, a walk-off 2-run home run against Zane Morehouse in the last of the 9th inning. Meanwhile, McCade Brown trying to work a 1-2-3 first. There's a swing and a miss. Good-looking slider again, and the count goes to 1-2.
Well, he's got that 4-seam fastball, which he throws most of the time, but he will throw the slider, the curve, and the change.
1-2 is inside as he busts him in with a fastball. And the count leaving off 2 balls and 2 strikes. Burgos leads the league, 44 runs batted in. Ground ball left side, dived by the diving third baseman Karros in a left field for a hit. So Jorge Burgos picks up a 2-out single for the RubberDucks.
Now that's a good at-bat for Burgos. We told you he's been struggling not only in the first 2 games of this series, but also on the last homestand for the RubberDucks, even though he leads the league in RBI. But that time they were shifting on him, and he still managed to wedge the ball between Karros and the shortstop Torres.
Lampy, as Dan mentioned, the big hit last night. Cleared the bases. The rocket triple down the right field line. That's in the dirt all the way to the backstop. It gets under the glove of Betancourt, and the wild pitch will send Burgos in a scoring position.
Well, the RubberDucks were pretty proficient in scoring runs with 2 outs last night, and actually put together a couple of scoring rallies after the first 2 batters in an inning were retired.
Burgos off at second base. Lampy up in an RBI spot. Swings here and pops it up. Back behind the plate, Betancourt takes off the mask, has a play, and makes the catch to end the inning. So Burgos will be stranded at second base, and McCade Brown looking good, throwing extremely hard after 1/2. Akron nothing, and the Yard Goats think. McCade Brown back to pitch as we open the second at 0-0. Guy Limpscomb, the right fielder, looks at strike 1. Brown throwing extremely hard, touched 97 in the first inning. Got a strikeout. The chopper towards first base. High hop for Kokoska. Flips it over to Brown covering, and just in time to get the speedy Limpscomb, who busting it up the line pretty good, but he is out number 1.
Well, that was a real close play, and alertly Brown went to cover first base. You see Kokoska deep fielding that ball. That was close. Yard Goats worked on fielding before the game today. They were out on the field a long time working on drills before they took BP.
Alex Mooney, the hitter, he's had a nice week in downtown. He swings and misses the first one from Brown for strike 1. Alex 5 for 7. First 2 games with a couple of walks, couple of strikeouts. His last 10 games, he's batting at a .333 clip. Shoots a foul straight back, and McCade Brown in the driver's seat, no balls and 2 strikes.
Well, he's had a good series over the first 2 games anyway. 5 for 7 in the series.
Long look in by Brown. And the pitch is outside for ball, and the count goes to 1-2. This game 3 of 6. The Guardians and Rockies affiliates battling all week here in the capital city. That's in there for a called third strike. A fastball in the outer half, placed perfectly by Brown. Betancourt holds it an extra second, and Rafael Pineda rings up the shortstop. That's his second strikeout, and it's out number 2.
That is a great pitch, and that's Brown. I mean, he's a strikeout machine, and he's off to a solid start tonight.
Cameron Barstead playing for the first time this week. He takes the breaking pitch in for strike 1. Barstead 141 batting average with a double homer, 8 RBI, limited time with the Akron RubberDucks. Swings and misses and could not get to 96, and is behind Brown. 0-2. Brown, 3rd round pick of the Rockies out of Indiana back in 2021. He had a .160 earned run average in A-ball this year. There's a swing and a miss, strike 3. Got that one at 97 as McCade Brown. 1-2-3 go the Ducks in the second. We played now an inning and a half, and no score in Hartford.
I'll tell you what, Jose Ramirez is posting Hall of Fame numbers. You saw Nolan Jones on that list, former Colorado Rocky, who began his career with Cleveland, then went to the Rockies, and now is back with Cleveland. I think Stephen Kwan is one of the unsung heroes in the Guardians lineup. And like you said, they all played for Akron.
They sure did. Michael Turconi, 8-9-1 for the Guardians affiliate Akron. Looks at a fastball from McCade Brown, who has been filling the strike zone. He's been throwing hard. He's been getting outs. He retired 6 of 7 batters face, and he's ahead 2 strikes to Michael Turconi. He's fighting it a little bit. He is 0 for 11 this week and 5 strikeouts here in Hartford. Last 10 games batting at a 110 clip. Sends a foul back to the roof. Brown comes back with an 0-2 slider.
Jeff, we saw, as you look at McCade Brown, Turconi with the New Hampshire Fisher Cats. He was with the Toronto organization, but was released on May 6th.
And a swing and a miss, strike 3. Kind of a weak hack and a good fastball from McCade Brown, who has struck out the last 3 to come to the plate, and overall has 4 strikeouts tonight.
Well, he is looking very impressive, and he's getting the hitters to chase. And that's not like this Akron team. Akron leads the Eastern League in walks. They also lead in on-base percentage, and one of the reasons is they have a great idea of the strike zone.
Tyrese Turner stands in. He looks at a fastball that's a called strike.
I mean, if you can get the Rubber Ducks to chase, and that's what Turconi did, you're doing something.
McCade Brown made his Double-A debut on April 30th against New Hampshire. And shoved back into the seats, out of play. Went 5 innings, gave up 3 runs on 3 hits, and had 7 strikeouts as his debut. And then we told you he got washed out last Friday, his second appearance, but had 4 strikeouts in 2 innings up in Portland. That's fouled off for the count, no balls and 2 strikes. McCade Brown in A-ball was one of the best pitchers in the Northwest League. 9 starts, a 1.60 earned run average. He kept just 6 earned runs in 33 2/3 innings. The curveball's in there for a strike 3 call. And Brown strikes out Turner. That's now 4 consecutive whiffs.
Well, and he has struck out 5 of the first 9 Akron hitters in this game.
With Spokane, that's the high A spot in the Colorado Rockies organization. He had 48 strikeouts. Limited hitters to just a 178 batting average. He's really had a great season. As Cooper Engel has had a great season himself, looks at strike 1. There's a guy that can do some damage. 9th in batting, 2nd in runs, 5th in extra base hits. Pitch is swung on and popped up short left. Ward comes underneath, has it measured, and makes the catch in a 1-2-3 inning. McCade Brown rolling through the Akron lineup, middle of 2, no score in Hartford. McCade Brown back to pitch, and here's Dan Lavallo.
All right, Jeff, and the first pitch to Khalil Watson. Misses, ball 1. Watson skied to right his first time up. No score. There's a foul at the plate. You know, last night's game was an aberration. The Rubber Ducks won by the score of 6-2, and by aberration, I mean when these two teams play, the games are usually 1 or 2 run decisions. That's a ball. I mean, last year, what was it? All of the games, or all but one, was decided by 1 run, Jeff?
Yeah, it's amazing that how tight those were in the last couple of years.
Swing and a miss, 2-2. Watson swinging through a 96-mile-per-hour fastball. There's Brown. And if he looks big to you, that's because he is. 6-6. Breaking ball, misses ball 3, 3-2.
Dan, 9 of the last 10 between Akron and Hartford at Duncan Park decided by 2 or fewer runs, including 8 one-run games.
There you go. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Comes back with a 97-mile-per-hour fastball.
By the way, the Yard goats 6-3 in those games, and then taking it further, 10 of 12 going back to the 2022 season. Decided by 2 or fewer runs. That's a lot of close games. And the last couple of years, Akron they've had beasts in their lineup, and they've had a really good pitching staff.
No question about it. They're up there pitching wise as Jorge Burgos takes a curve for a strike.
Guardians do a really good job, draft and develop, and we've seen a lot of those guys, as we talked about last inning, now in Cleveland.
That's a ball. 1-1 the count. One of their former pitchers who pitched for Akron and hails from Windsor, Connecticut, and went to school at Northeastern, Aaron Savali, making some news today. There's a swing and a miss, 1-2. Savali was traded by Cleveland to Tampa Bay and then dealt to Milwaukee. Well, the Brewers moved him out of the starting rotation today, put him in the bullpen, Jeff, and now he's demanding a trade. But we remember Aaron when he pitched for the Akron RubberDucks.
Sure.
There's a drive to left. Ward says, I've got it. And quickly 2 are gone here in the top of the 4th inning.
It's always nice to watch those New England kids make it, and Aaron Zavali's had a really nice career as a major league pitcher. I mean, he basically grew up right up the street from Duncan Park.
Yep. Went to school at Northeastern.
Yep.
But he wants to be traded. Here's Joe Lampe, fouled out to the catcher his first time up. He fouls this one back. You're seeing a lot of swinging early in the count by the RubberDucks, which is unusual, as we mentioned, because they lead the Eastern League in walks. But if Brown's going to be around that plate, they have to be swinging. And you see what he's done as far as the strikeouts are concerned. Already 6 Ks. His high in the game at the AA level 7 at his first start. Swing and a miss, 0-2. And that was here at Duncan Park a couple of weeks ago. He made his AA debut and he struck out 7 batters in 5 innings pitched. This is inside, 1-2. But to cover that 6'6" frame, Brown weighs 225 pounds. And there is a swing and a miss, strike 3. Another efficient inning for Brown. We head to the last of the 4th. No.
Lined up. Always a fun night, and more than 6,000 down in the ballpark tonight. 66-47. Watching the Goats and the RubberDucks in the capital city.
Guy Lipscomb awaits the 1-0. And he lifts this one down the line, foul, and into the seats. Lipscomb grounded out to first, pitcher covering his first time up. McCade Brown is doing something the Yard Goats staff needed desperately, as that pitch misses ball 2, and that's hurl into the 5th inning. And his pitch count exquisite. His 51st pitch grounded down to first, and Kokoska underhands it to Brown, and that is out number 1. And tell you what, McCade Brown is on a bit of a roll, Jeff. He has now retired 11 straight and just permitted 1 batter to reach base.
A lot of good things happen when you have fastball commands early, Dan, and McCade Brown right away just set the tone in the 1st inning, struck out the first batter of the game, the much ballyhooed DH tonight. Cooper Ingalls, one of the catchers, but he has been on cruise control, and he's just dominated the first 4+ innings.
Alex Mooney comes up empty on his swing, 0-1.
Yeah, we've seen some bad swings, too. And this is a team that, you know, went through a pretty good stretch this season. They've been one of the 2 top teams in the Southwest Division this year. But Brown's really silenced them so far tonight.
Strike 2 as he swings and misses. I mean, we told you the numbers. They walk more than anybody in the Eastern League. A tremendous understanding of the strike zone, but Brown has really got them chasing after pitches and also swinging early in the count because they know the pitch is going to be around the plate.
He's worked mostly with the fastball and occasionally throwing a slider.
That's a ball, 1-2. He struck out 7. That ties his high at the AA level. And there's a ground ball fair inside the 3rd base bag down the left field line. Around first, on his way to second is Mooney. And he is in standing with a double, and the throw gets away from Karros. Mooney heading for 3rd. There's the throw, not in time. And this has become a problem with the Yard Goats. They've done that in this series, throw the baseball around. And that was an errant throw. Watch it again, Jeff, as the Goats once again have some shoddy defense. It's not like Ward as the throw missed the cutoff man, and you could see Betancourt then trying to nail Mooney, and Karros had to flail in order to prevent that ball from getting away.
Yeah, you're right, and the defense has been suspect in this series here at home, and the Goats came in tied 2nd best fielding percentage of the entire league.
Swing and a miss by Cameron Barstad. Barstad struck out swinging his first time up. Yard Goats play the infield in. That is a ball.
Well, if there's any time that McCade Brown would like to reach back a little extra and get a strikeout here, or an infield ground ball, it'd be right now. Try to prevent this run from scoring.
That is a ball. 2-1 the count. Brown having to work a bit now here in this 5th inning. It is first jam of the night. The Illinois native delivers, and there is a swing and a miss. The throw down to third, and Mooney gets back.
I've always felt, talking to the coaches, that the adversity when you're working into and sometimes out of trouble, that's a big part of the development as well. And obviously you don't want your guys to go out there and give up base hits and put runners on base, but the coaching staff, they take note of how you deal with runners on base.
Absolutely. Swing and a miss, strike 3. So an excellent slider from Brown, and that is a huge strikeout, and that's the most he has struck out at the AA level. That's his 8th of the ball game.
Yeah, it just kind of dropped right down towards the foot, and Barstead couldn't hold up with a swing. And that's a huge out now. Bobby Meacham can move the infield back at regular depth.
Michael Turconi struck out swinging his first time up, and he looks at a curve. Ball 1. No score, top of the 5th. And a pitcher's night to this point. Swing and a miss. 1-1. Hard fastball from Brown, whose pitch count has been very manageable, and we said much needed. Last night the Yard Goats pitchers combined for 205 pitches, and that's just too many. Fouled back.
Yeah, Hartford had a 40-pitch inning. I've never seen a 40-pitch inning where a run doesn't score, but we saw it last night. There were 40 pitches thrown.
Just amazing.
And a run didn't score.
I've never seen a Yard Goats pitcher, one pitcher, throw 40 pitches in an inning, and then for the other team not to score.
It's tough to do.
1-2 pitch. Misses inside, and this is an Akron team. Don't let the batting average fool you. Akron came in with a .226 team batting average, 8th in the circuit, but they are tied for 3rd in runs scored with 268.
And they've been one of the best teams in the league.
Ball 3. So he tried to get Turconi to fish. Swing at a inside fastball, but Turconi wasn't biting. Payoff pitch. In there, strike 3 called. A slider, 9 strikeouts for Brown. Halfway through this one, it's the Yard Goats nothing. The RubberDucks nothing. This is Yard Goats Baseball on NESN. Yard Goats Baseball is presented by Mike's Amazing Mayonnaise and Mustard. When it's on, it's on. Find Mike's Amazing here at Duncan Park and on sale today at your local market. To learn more, visit Mike'sAmazingFoods.com. Tyrese Turner leads it off and fouls the first pitch back. Turner struck out looking his first time up. Got a little battle going here among the teams as far as various colleges and universities. There's a strike 1-1. For example, you take a look at Turner. He was drafted out of Southern Cal, playing third base tonight, and the third baseman for the Yard Goats was drafted out of UCLA. There's a rivalry. There's a high fly to left field. Ward, backpedaling, makes the catch. So Turner, who's playing his second straight game, is the first out, and once again a leadoff hitter goes down. No leadoff hitter has gotten on base tonight. And a pitcher's duel here at Duncan Park. To the top of the order, and Cooper Ingle, who has looked at a third strike and flied to left. Pitch misses outside, ball 1. And I'll tell you what, McCade Brown is opening some eyes tonight.
He is.
That's a ball. And this warm, somewhat humid evening, Brown has been in control. Ball 3, 3-0. It's really the first time he's been in danger of walking anybody. And this is a Yard Goat staff which has walked 10 batters in the first 2 games of this series. Now make it 11 walks total. There's the first walk in the ball game, surrendered by Brown. And Engel would perhaps be the one to draw a walk because he is among the league leaders in walks. There's the manager once again, Greg DeCenzo.
He's having a time of his life in pro ball in Akron, although his family's a long way away here in New England.
Khalil Watson swings and misses, strike one. Well, if Greg DeCenzo has designs of someday becoming a Major League Baseball manager, he's in the right uniform.
That's right.
Because the manager of the Baltimore Orioles, Tony Mansolino, managed Akron. There's a drive to right, making the grab is Hill, and there are 2 away.
Yeah, and it wasn't long ago he was making lineup cards up in this league.
Tony Mansolino was the manager of the Akron RubberDucks for 1 year in 2018. The next thing you know, he's a coach in the major leagues, and then this year he was on Brandon Hyde's Orioles staff until Hyde was dismissed, and now Mansolino is managing the Baltimore Orioles. And like DeCenzo, never played in the big leagues. There's a check swing foul, and that no longer is a prerequisite, having played in the big leagues, in order to get to manage in the big leagues. Not that you had to play in the big leagues many years ago to manage, but you didn't see as many managers back then as you do now who never played in the big leagues. Nice play by Betancourt as he keeps that ball in front of him. So if DeCenzo has designs, and who doesn't really when you're in this position managing in the minor leagues, all he has to do is look at Tony Mansolino as you look at Colin Baumgartner starting to loosen in the Yard Goats bullpen. Pitch count up to 77. There is a line drive into right center field for a base hit. Up with the ball is Carrig. Stopping at second base is Engel. And now some noise for the RubberDucks. First time tonight, Jeff, they've had 2 runners on in an inning.
Yeah, the 1-out walk now at second base as Engel checks in a scoring position. Burgos going to dump that one in a short center field. And now Brown has to deal with the cleanup hitter in DeCenzo's lineup. And first he'll get a visit from the catcher, Brian Betancourt. There'll be a meeting on the mound, and this will give McCade, Dan, a chance to catch his breath.
You see Burgos all smiles, fist bumping with first base coach Mark Mumper, and the huddle on the mound for the Yard Goats. One of the reasons Burgos is all smiles is he's been really battling a slump, but seems to have broken out of it tonight with a couple of hits. He has found the groove. Meanwhile, Baumgartner will perhaps throw a bit harder in that Yard Goats bullpen. You get the idea this was going to be one way or another the last inning for Brown anyway, Jeff.
He has done his job keeping the Goats in the game. Now he's just got one guy to get. And here's the guy that had the big hit last night, Dan.
Joe Lampe had a bases loaded triple, and he looks at a strike. Tonight he has fouled out to the catcher and struck out. No score, top of the 6th.
Yeah, at that time it was a 1-0 game, and that was basically the hit that said game over.
Broke the Yard Goats back. That's a ball. Betancourt tried to frame that pitch unsuccessfully. There's Lampe. 29 runs batted in on the year. And there is a high drive to deep right field. Hill ranging back on the track, leaps, unable to make the catch. Into score is Engel. Here comes Burgos. Here comes the throw. Off the mark. In at second base with a 2-run double is Lampe. And the RubberDucks take a 2-0 lead. Joe Lampe has struck again.
He is public enemy number 1 here in Hartford. Base clearing 2-bagger. His 9th of the season as he gets both Engel and Burgos home. And here comes Bobby Meacham. We'll see if he makes the pitching change and goes to New Arm to get through this 6th inning.
I'm sure he is. This was the longest outing of the year, and we do have a pitching change here at Duncan Park. Pitching change here in the top of the 6th. With the score, the RubberDucks 2, the Yard Goats nothing. We'll be back to tell you all about it in just a moment.